Okay. Hi. Good afternoon. 没有人洗涤行李可以啊，有吗？I never tried, to be honest, never tried. Okay. Okay. We're gonna start your tutorial today. Okay. Now, besides doing 3 tutorials here in the class physically, okay, I also appreciate if you think that you are really serious about passing the paper, you want to put more effort, right? Okay. Now go to my channel in YouTube, and then there are 3 tutorial classes for last sitting in that means the December 2013 exam. There are tutorial 1, 2 and 3 there. Now you should go and watch that 3 as well, because tax exam we valid for 1 year one. So last exam is and this exam, the law are the same. Okay, so you just go and watch. So there we do about nearly, I think, got 15 questions. So these 3 tutorial, I'll do other question with you. So you do this plus the other one, you will have a lot of questions plus the revision, unless you got no heart, or else you cannot say you don't pass. I seriously, strongly believe into you are able to do it. Alright, but you must put your effort. So I think this is something that we need both sides. One side I do, you don't do, I think it's very hard. So you must understand. Okay. Now I didn't copy the link, so I just tell you where to find. You just go to youtube.com/user/Mr. Lau Chin An. Okay, that's my channel. Now once you go into channel, they will ask you search videos. So you go and search F6 tutorial. Now you should be able to find tutorial 1, 2, 3. Now the date should be somewhere in I think it's October 2013. October 2013, because it's meant for last exam, October to November. You look at the date carefully. Don't look at the wrong video. Okay, I'll start with last exam. So look at the latest way of how our examiner tested, so you can set an expectation of how your examiner asks you. Okay, see the style, the format. Now you should know by now we have question 1 and question 2, that these 2 questions can be personal, corporate. Okay, it doesn't matter whether it's question 1 personal or question 2 personal, it can be either one. Okay, and you will have 30 marks, 25 marks requirement in question 1 and question 2. So this is last exam, page 130. Okay, so question 1, pass here. Pass here. Aleng Loi pass here, the red color book. Correct? That's why you are looking, don't know where to find. Page 130. 笑咩笑？你又笑？你笑我定笑你？笑我啊！我唔愛教啊！我出嚟啊。Okay. Now, 130. Look at the page. Okay. Now this is your question 1 with personal tax. So you can see that the requirement involve computing tax for Josh, for Susan. So it's 2 different individuals that they do not use joint assessment. Now then question 2, you can see is a corporate tax question. As usual, that you will get a company where they give you the P&L with a lot of notes. Then the note you have to run through and then go through how to do the adjustment. So this is like what we did in the class when we talk about guardians in Jambahat. Now that's the 25 marks question. Okay. Now then question 3, 4 and 5, it can be on any area. Okay, nothing specific, just that one area that will definitely come out. Okay, one area that will definitely come out is called indirect taxes. which is your sales and service tax. Okay, the one sure that you will get a question with minimum 10 marks. Okay, now so we take a look at this part. Now question 3 is a 20 marks question. So examiner has actually chosen to ask the questions with different parts. So I believe that he's going to do that again this time so that his coverage is more. If you want to ask one whole question on one topic, then your exam like a few topics only being tested. So that's why he divided A into agriculture, B into plant and machinery, C into IBA, and then D he asked tax admin. So he asked on different area. Now then question 4 will be a 15 marks question. Now this 15 marks, the examiner asked part A with RPGT. We have not covered yet. Okay. Then part B is withholding tax. We're going to do it tonight. Okay. Now then you can see the last question, question 5. Where is my question 5? I didn't print out my question 5. Here, okay, can lend. Thank you. Right, now your question 5 is the indirect tax that I say minimum 10 marks. Now minimum 10 marks, can be more than 10 marks. Okay, so in this case he just did an exactly 10 marks indirect tax question. With these 6 marks you can see we asked about the sales turnover for service tax and then the licensing for service tax, and then part B the examiner asked about sales tax. Okay, so there's a 4 marks over here. Now this is how the exam question going to be. Okay, now one thing that I think is not very nice, especially when we do the marking, we come across cases where students make stupid mistake. Stupid in the sense that we tell you all the things and you still make a mistake. Now we are very concerned about what? The tax rates and the free information. Okay, now I call it free information. You should know what I'm referring to, right? The front page of the questions where you're given 3 pages with all the rates. Okay, you can see your front page, right? See enough? Your front page of the Q&A. I didn't print. Okay, you can turn to your front page. Now you can see that 3 pages of free information. Now in most time that, because in the class when we do question, one reason it probably is you don't do the question, you copy my answer. So when we calculate all these things, you never bother to look at the rate, you know, and then sometimes you refer to the rates in my note. So that is the problem, that you don't get used to referring to the rate. Now you must change. So from now onwards, you must always do question, turn to the front, look at the rate. So once you get used to it, then you can recall what's in the rate, because we come across a lot of answers that student forgot the amount of relief and then they earn tam. Okay, now when they forgot the front page got, you check, then you know the amount. For example, they sometimes don't even know that insurance maximum is 3,000 for medical and education. Then they didn't refer, then they don't know use what number, then they simply put, then they made a mistake and they lost half or 1 mark here and there. Okay, so it's not worthy lah. That's why I think these are a bit of stupid mistake. Okay, so you shouldn't make a mistake which is stupid. Okay, so it's like you go for a war, and then during the war people shoot you, you die with pride lah. Okay, so you know, imagine before people shoot you, you run, you fall into a hole, then you die like that. Then I don't think you die with pride lah. Okay, so you know, so that's why I think you must make mistake in the right way. Make mistake in the right way. Don't make stupid mistake. Okay, now so that's my advice to you. Okay, we're going to start with the first question from December 2013. Okay, now then we will see that this is what examiner expect you to do. Okay, so take a look at first question, December 2013. Okay, right. So first of all, they say that, now read the requirement. Read the requirement. Okay, assuming that Josh and Susan do not elect for joint assessment, then work out separately the tax payable or repayable for 2013 for Josh and Susan. Now, students, they don't like reading the requirement because they have been doing again and again so many questions that they assume that every question they ask the same thing. Now please don't do that, because sometimes you miss out certain important instruction that the examiner tell you. Okay, now the examiner said in the note, you should indicate by using the word new or exam, okay, where appropriate, for any item referred in the question for which no adjusting entry needs to be made in the tax com. And then please use prescribed value for benefit in kind. So the method is PV. Okay, now then part B, it says that assuming Susan does elect for joint assessment. So now the examiner say that, so go on the joint assessment, compute the tax payable and repayable for Josh and Susan. Now that's why from A to B is very easy, right? You just need to use what income? What income? From A to B, they just want to compute once more using joint assessment. So you start with which income? Total. So that means they're testing you in terms of what? Relief only, right? Okay, so part B, they're just testing you in terms of relief. How do you work out the tax? Okay, now then C, they say based on the computation that you have in A and B, briefly explain whether Josh or Susan should opt for separate or joint assessment. Which one? Okay, now obviously you should opt for the one that you give yourself the lowest tax. Is it not? Okay, now they are asking you to explain. They are not just asking you to state whether you should or you should not. And there's a lot of answers that we see students just say that you should opt for joint assessment or you should opt for separate assessment. Then they full stop that. Then 3 marks, they probably get half mark only because you never explain your answer. Follow? Okay? Now, so I'll start with the question. Okay, Josh and Susan are both tax resident of Malaysia. They are married with 2 children. Okay, Josh is employed as a marketing manager in a listed company, while Susan derives interest and rental. Details of Josh's employment income, benefits, expenditure for 2013 are expected to be as follows. So now they give you their income and benefit. Okay, number 1, salary, 140. Now, employment income, when you assess, you must separate them into section 13(1). Right now, 13(1). Okay, and 13(1) got how many times? In exam, there will be 3. Okay, now A, B, C. Now, you put under the wrong side, you lose mark already. If it's A, you put B, you lose mark. You won't get mark. Totally no mark. Okay, so you gotta make sure you arrange them nicely. Now, you tell me salary is A. Very good. Okay, benefit. The company's car provided to Josh, cost when new, is 320. So you just look at the table and work out what's the value. Okay, good. Cost of the driver, hired and paid by employer. So A or B? A or B? Must be A, B. 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 Okay? Must be B. How do you know it's B? It's by the employer. Correct enough? Okay. A mobile phone that's under Josh's name, given by the employer. So it's given to you. That's why it's your name. A or B? A. And what do you do with the mobile phone? Is exempted. Okay, so you just gonna put there 13(1)A exempt. You get half mark. So imagine you didn't know and you go and put under 13(1)B and you also write exempt. Actually, your answer is correct, right? The amount is correct, but you get 0 mark because you put under the wrong side. Follow? Okay. Now, then the total monthly bills for the mobile phone paid by the employer. So you know that the phone is given, then is A. Okay, unless they specifically mention that who registered the line. So if not, then we just follow the phone. Okay. Now there's total leave passages paid by the employer for 3 overseas trips. Okay, for 3 overseas trips. Now the examiner just put 13,000 one lump sum. Okay, so then we just assume that if you travel each leave passage at the same value, then you know 13,000 divided by 3, each trip will cost more than 3K, right? Then I don't see there's a problem for you. That means how much is the exemption you get? Overseas? Exempt? How many thousand? 3,000. Okay, overseas, exempt 3,000. Okay. There's a housing loan subsidy. Loan subsidy. Loan subsidy is what? AB. The employer give you a loan and subsidize the interest. AB? A. Okay. Now, will you get an exemption? Is what loan? Housing loan. If you take housing loan, you use the loan to do what? It's a very obvious question, right? You take housing loan, buy what? Buy potato. You buy house, is it not? So is housing loan is to buy house. So if buy house, will you get exemption? Yes. Okay. Now, look at the loan amount that you borrow. You're taking 400,000. Okay. Now, if your loan is 400, will it be full exemption or partial? Partial. You're going to use a formula, correct? Okay. Now, the amount outstanding at the end of the year is 320. The interest payable for the year is 20,000. The interest paid by the employer is 12. So the interest paid by the worker is 8. Well, that's because the total interest is 20. If the employer paid 12, then obviously the balance is 8. Okay, you tell me how much is the subsidized interest? How much is the subsidized interest? How much interest that the boss has paid for you? How much? 12 Come on, so obvious already. Interest paid by the employer, the boss is subsidized for you, so the amount is 12,000. So this 12,000 is what you're going to tax, right? But before you tax the 12,000, you will have to reduce it by an exemption value. So the exemption value, you have to use the formula, the ABC. Okay. Now, so this is on the interest. Now go on. George is a part-time singer, and in 2013 he received royalty from recording disc. Okay. Royalty from recording disc. Any exemption? Yes. How much is the exemption? 10. Recording disc. Correct enough. You exempt 10,000. It's the easiest that you have. Correct enough. We have 3 or 4 levels of exemption. Got 10, 12, 20, and full exemption. You know. Now the full exemption is the one that special one to do with what? Cultural performance. Are they left with the 10, 12, and 20? So that one is very easy. You follow which one is easiest to do. The exemption level is the lowest. Okay? Right, go on. Expenditure. EPF. What's EPF? Relief, right? You're going to claim relief, right? Okay. So I would suggest that when you have relief in the question, you highlight with a different color. Just make it maybe a technique that I highlight with different color, so that you will have things scattered around the question, but you know relief comes at the bottom. Then you know where to pick up. Okay, so EPF. Okay. Now this is one thing that sometimes students they think too much. All right. Okay. Examiner say books with receipt 400. Relief also, right? Okay, good. Go on. Okay, Josh bears all the expenses for the children and has elected to claim child relief. In 2013, he incurred the following expenses: 55,000 for the first child, 22-year-old, pursuing full-time degree in a local university and is married. So, how much relief you can claim? Married, nil. Okay? So the child has no relief. Okay? Because it's married. Now, go on. 5,000 for the second child who is 17-year-old and is doing a pre-medical course in preparation for a medical degree in a local university. How much is it really? 1,000. Why? What's the problem? The age, yes. So you can only claim 1,000 for child below 18, unless the child is disabled. If not, it's just 1K. Okay. All right. Josh made a contribution in kind, valued to be 21,000, to an approved project for the provision of facilities for the disabled in a public market. Now, what is this? It's donation, right? You go and build some facilities for the disabled people in the public market. Now, can you claim deduction here? Yes or no? Yes. Got limit or not? Got or not? No. Okay. If it's for disabled, there's no limit. The one that comes with limit is which one? The one that comes with limit, which one? Yeah. Library, yes, library. Sorry. Okay, yes, library. One more? Medical. Okay. How much? 20. You see, examiner all very smart one. They purposely put 21,000. So in the exam, when you don't study very well, you get very confused one. I know something got limit. And then the limit is 20K one. This examiner purposely put 21. Is it because there's a limit 20, they say it's 21? See, you think like that, then gone case already. So this is how you become very confused in the exam. So as long as you prepare well, there's no issue. Okay? And usually, you trust me, every time if you are not sure in the exam and you start to have doubts, then you start to think of, is it A or is it B? You always trust the first answer. Usually it's correct. Okay, don't change. Usually you change. The one you change is the wrong one. Okay. Now it comes to Susan. Susan has extended a loan to her brother and derived an interest of 1,000. You tax this? Yes. Susan owns a condo from which she derives rental income. Now, details of the rental income and expenditure are expected as follows. Now, the examiner gave a P&L here. Gross rental, rental deposit, quick rent, maintenance, interest, new aircon, and the net rental. Now, this one we raised an issue to the examiner about what if the student started the answer with net rental and you adjust. Because you gave a P&L, right? So when you give a P&L, then you can start from gross or you can start from net. Okay? Now, so this is what examiner commented. He said usually if you do a business rental, he prefer you start from net. If it's a business one. If it's a 4D, he prefers you just start from gross. But anyway, whichever way you do, you will still be marked correct. Okay, there's no issue. But you got to show everything. Now, show everything in the sense that if I start from gross, now I'm going to have gross rental, and then for deposit, I put a nil, right? I don't tax my correct, okay? Now, quick rent, I'm going to minus. Maintenance, I'm going to minus. Interest, I'm going to minus. Aircon, I won't minus because it's capital. Now, if you start from net, then your answer must be add back the aircon. And then you have to show quick rent, maintenance, interest, new. Now, if the student just add back the aircon and these three, you never put the new, then you still lose mark. Because you didn't show everything. Because that's why the exam question said that anything no adjustment, you still need to show a new. So whichever you do end of the day is the same, but you will show all the answer. But there are students that they just show net rental, then they just add back the aircon, then they just minus the deposit. The total figure is correct one, but of course you lost the mark already. You lost mark for the quick rent, maintenance. So please remember, show everything. Okay, go on. Susan made a cash donation 3,777 to the Kidney Foundation, which is an approved charity. So if it's a cash to charity, maximum is 7% of the AI. And she bought books worth 800. Now this is the one that when we look at the students' answer, we really have a small giggle and start asking the idea how come students actually think like that. Okay. Now you see, the examiner right here, books with receipt. The examiner say Susan bought books 800, but the examiner forgot to put with receipt. So you tell me got receipt or got no receipt. Logic is there must be with receipt lah. I mean, if I want to tell you there's no receipt, I gotta say that there's no receipt. Yes, you know. So probably if I want to do that, I would have said like books buy 500 ringgit, but receipt for 400. Now I would have qualified my statement by stating like that. If I just say that books 800 like that, then I don't see why you must assume that there's no receipt. But there are a lot of answers we saw. The student put books, put nil, and then put a bracket say no receipt. Okay, they assume no receipt. But then we be thinking that why you assume no receipt? We didn't say that there's no receipt. Okay, so the only way I think I can understand the student feeling is the student read this books with receipt. Then this one the examiner didn't say. Then must be no receipt lah. That's why it didn't say. You know, so they assume no receipt. But of course the answer is wrong. Okay, so unfortunately the answer is wrong. Okay, so that's why I say sometimes don't think so much. Don't think so much, because you'll be thinking there must be a trick. Okay, no, we are human. We are human, and we don't do this kind of trick to trick the student. Examiner is very professional. Okay, now so let's start with the answer. So how do you find the question? Okay, easy, very confident, now. Before exam, so confident already. Okay, get me a prize winner, become the highest mark in Malaysia. So long I never got prize. So long. Okay. A prize winner and you get a free ticket to where you want. A place that Air Asia can go. Okay, you choose. Air Asia can go very far also. Melbourne, ticket to Melbourne. One way, not return. Okay, I give you a free ticket, go. Then you come back yourself lah. Prize winner is recorded, is proof. Is proof. Okay, free ticket to go. You come back by boat also can. You come back by boat lah. Okay. Now, A tax computation for 2013 for Josh. Now Josh has an employment income, so we start with 4B employment, and you have to separate income into section 13. So 13(1)(a). Now we have salary 140,000. Now I don't like browsing up and down to look for all the 1A then 1B. I find this way of doing normally is very risky, that you miss the things out. So I prefer to do in sequence. I like to go on the next one, so I don't miss it. So if that's the case, what you do is you leave blanks. Okay. Now you see how many things you have here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 things only. That means you leave 7 lines or so, more than enough already, right? So don't leave the whole page blank. Be sensible. Okay. So you just leave a few lines here. Then go to 13(1)(b). Okay. Car. Alright, help me. Get me the value of the car. I didn't print my rates table, so you look at your question. Give me the amount. Don't, you look for me. Why you give me exam? You give me an exam. How much? 15,000. Thank you. Okay, 15. Now the car has no adjustment, right? They didn't say more than 5 years. They didn't say for how many months. There's no sharing. So just a simple 15,000. Okay. All right. Then there is a driver. Okay. What's the PV for driver? You forgot, never mind. Please look at the front page. The front page got one. Okay. If you forgot, okay. If you didn't forget, also please look at the front page. You know, sometimes you think you remember correctly. Okay. How much is the amount? 600 times how many months? 12 months. So the amount will be 7,002. Okay, go on. After that, okay, there's this mobile phone. Right, mobile phone. We give you exemption for phone and the line. One phone, one line. Mobile phone, one exempted. Telephone, also one exempted. Pager, one exempted. Broadband, one exempted. That means you can take up to 4 things that they are all exempted, but just one only. Okay, so if you got 2 phone, one you must tax it. Exempt. Okay, so after the mobile phone, they mentioned that there is this line, mobile phone line, which is exempt as well. Leave passage, overseas leave passage. That the amount is 13,000. This 13 minus 3 carry half a mark. So 10,000 is half a mark. So you just show 10,000 without this, then you get half mark. Because you need to show working. Okay? You're going to show working. Now, it's in the supplementary instruction at the beginning, which most students don't bother to read. Calculations must be always to the nearest ringgit. Any apportionment to the nearest month. Okay, for example, like agriculture allowance, if you apportion into the number of days, you should apportion to the nearest month. So if I say half a year means 6/12, okay? And all working should be shown. Because the instruction is they want you to show the working, okay? So that's why sometimes when we grant marks on the working. Yeah. Telephone allowance, yeah. Of course, this is not allowance. Of course. Mobile phone and allowance is different. Don't see the word mobile, then it's the same, okay? It's like, I always joke, don't see that your same surname must be your father, okay? It's not necessary, right? It can be in the same generation, okay? Now, what is allowance? Allowance is they give you fixed amount of money. Every month, I give you fixed amount, okay? So I say, I give you 1 month, 200 ringgit. Why 200? This 200 is for you to pay your phone bill. Now, I don't care how much you use your bill. Every month, 200 I give to you. Your bill less than that, the 200 you take. Your bill more than that is your problem. That's called allowance, which is not exempted. This is, I give you a phone. The phone is yours. And I give you a line. When I give you the line, the amount will depend on how much is the bill. The bill come, I pay. So it's different. Don't mix up, okay? Now, come back. Okay, so after your leave passage, we have what? Housing loan subsidy. Okay. Loan subsidy. Okay. The formula is very important here. You have 1 mark over here, okay? So if you get the formula wrong, the final answer wrong, you've lost all the mark, okay? Alright, so how much is the subsidy? 12,000. Now this 12,000 will give you half mark. Okay, you just write about 12,000 is half mark, alright? Okay, now we will give you the other half mark on the formula. Okay, what's the formula? 12,000 times what? 300. Why 300 and not 320? Because it's the lower of 300 or the balance. Fair enough. So if your balance is more than 300, then you take 300. And what's the one that you take at the bottom? 400, the principal. Okay? Right, so the amount will come to 9. Then you tax 3,000. Half mark, half mark, half mark. Okay? So half mark, half mark, half mark. At least you show 12,000, you won't get 0, you get half mark also. Okay? But you want to get 1.5 for all, then you must show the working. Then the final figure must be right. Alright, now all done already. See, very easy. There's no accommodation as well. Fair enough. The examiner didn't test accommodation. So probably in this coming exam, maybe, who knows? He might want to test you employment where now the focus is on accommodation. We don't know one, I'm just saying only, okay? So don't take so seriously what I say. Okay, 143, and then 143 plus your 71B is 175,002. Plus, got any deductions here? Got deductions or not? I don't see deductions with employment income. Okay, there's no deduction. So this is my gross adjusted statutory income. Okay, gross adjusted statutory income. But we don't penalize students for using short form. So if you write like that, actually we know what you're trying to say. Okay, but I don't encourage you to do like that. Okay, I'm just saying that we don't penalize you, but I don't encourage you. Okay, so professionally you shouldn't do like that. Okay, just write in full. Now go on. Okay, employment done already. What's the next source of income? What other income that George is having? Royalty. That's all only, right? After that, no more only, right? Then is the wife, Susan already. So that's all only. For the royalty income, the royalty is 22 minus 10,000. So you tax 12,000. Half mark for 22, half mark for 10, half mark for 12. Okay? Right. So aggregate income would be 187,200. So what do you do after the aggregate? Yeah, current year business loss is the first thing, but you don't have, right? Okay, you don't have, then you claim donation. You got donation here now. Yes, the donation is the provision for the disabled facilities. Okay, so we have a donation facilities for the disabled, 21, no limit. Okay, how sad that there are a lot of students, they put there maximum 20, you got 0. Okay, you put 21, you get 1 mark. Easy 1 mark. Okay, but if you remember wrongly, you got 0. Okay, right, total income, it will be 166,200. And what do you do after total? You minus relief. Okay, so what relief do you have here? Self, 9,000. Half mark already. Oh, easy, right? Okay, now go on. What else you see we highlighted with blue color? Yeah, EPF. 14,000. Maximum is 6. Half mark again. Okay, now go on. After that, we have this child relief. So the child relief, so the books. I might put the child first. Okay. Now the child relief, you cannot show total one. You know, some students they don't know which one is which. Then they add all together. Put child relief. Then they just put everything together. Okay. Then cannot. Or they're very smart. They just put new plus amount. Then I don't know which is new. Now imagine you just put new plus 1,000. The new is for which child, you tell me? I don't know. So you cannot mark. Then in that case, you get wrong for everything. So you have to tell me which child. So the first child and the second child. Okay? The question use first child, second child. So first child is new. Second child is 1,000. And then we have books. Just 400 ringgit. The chargeable income will be 166,215 is 149,800. The question asks you to work until the tax payable, right? So you must show the tax. On the first 100,000, the tax is 13850. Then the next 49,800. you pay tax at 26%. Check the rate table so that you know the correct rates that you're using. One, two, 9, 4, 8. That's it. Dua belas mata. You rasa senang ke susah? Senang. Remember you first time do tax that time? Wow. Remember the first time when we learn resident status? Then say don't understand. Oh, I cannot, difficult. Okay. Now you feel very happy, right? That wow, tax 很像很简单. Okay. Now you will feel it's easier. Okay. So I told you all before in day one that tax learn is difficult one, but towards the exam is easy. But hard work, never remember then difficult. Okay, go on. Susan. Yeah, Susan is it's very simple with only the interest and the rental. Fair enough. Okay, so I start with the interest. For C interest, amount is 1,000. Right, 4D rental. Okay. Okay, the rental income is 43. Deposit is refundable, so it's nil. Now expenses wise, we have quick, rent and assessment 500, maintenance 2004, interest expense 3006, and aircon. Now why aircon is disallowed? Why? Why is aircon disallowed? Capital, okay? Can I claim capital allowance on the aircon then? Can or not? Cannot. Why cannot? Because it's not business. If it's a rental under business, then can. So see carefully. So we have 36,500. Now that will be the adjusted statutory income. So 37,500 would be the aggregate income. Right, then Susan made a donation 3777. Okay, now minus cash donation. Now maximum 7% off 37,500 must indicate. So if your amount is more than that, then we restrict. So maximum is 2,555. So we got 34. 2625. Hey, yeah, how can I get 2,555? Thank you. 2625. So the total income will be 34,875. Alright, relief wise, Susan be claiming sell 9,000. What else? What else you highlighted with blue? Books. $800. So chargeable income will be 25 075. Same thing, they want you to work out the tax, right? So on the first 20,000, I think it's 300 ringgit, right? Help me to check. Then what's the next rate? 6%. Okay, so the amount is 604.5, and what will Susan be getting? Rebate, because the CI does not exceed 35K, and the rebate will be 400. So the tax rebate will be 400. Okay, so the net tax payable is 204.5. There's another 10 marks. Law student got perfect marks here. Okay, go on with B now. Now, B is really a very simple requirement, because if you ask me, the examiner didn't even ask you the complicated things on relief when it comes to combined assessment. I mean, if I'm the examiner, I will put in things like what? Supporting equipment, medical expenses for parents, that the one that can trick you. But you see this one, where got? The relief only got what? EPF, books, child. That's it. Okay? Now please do that for me. I'm expecting perfect score, 5 marks out of 5. Later I'll take your answer and show you. Okay? Faster. Go on. Move on, shift on. Forgot, my goodness, forgot. Exam forgot now. Okay, now exam fee very expensive. You all must make sure one time go, one time up. Not waste a lot of money. Okay. You will take total income of Josh. So the figure will come from A, which is 166,200. Then total income of Susan, which is what we got as 34,875. Okay, so the combined total income, now there's no term for this lah. If you read the act, then it's called the aggregate of total income. Okay, so you want to put, you just put the aggregated total income. So 34875 is 201075. Now until here you get 1 mark already. This 1 mark actually you will always get if you know what is combined assessment, because we don't care what number you have here. It's own figure rule. Whatever number you got from your answer A, B, as long as you take the same amount and put here, then you get 1 mark. Okay, so we don't care what number you have there. Follow? Now we're going to look at the relief wise. So relief wise, you're going to have your personal relief, 9,000. And now who elect? Susan elect. So you claim wife relief, which is 3,000. Okay, then you go back to all the relief that we see just now. Now, EPF just now, EPF, maximum is still 6,000. And then the guy got child relief. Okay, I'll put child relief. Now, you still claim child relief, right? First child and the second child. Okay? First child nil, second child 1. Alright? Now then you have books, right? And the books will be maximum 1,000. Anything else? No more already, okay? So you've got all the relief here. Right, so 201075 is 181,075. That's your CI. Now on the first 100,000 is 13,850. Followed by the next 81,75 is 26%. 21079.5. Okay, then that's your tax payable. Okay, part C. Now, if examiner gave you up to 3 marks, you think logically. You can't just be saying that, how much is the tax? 34,929. Okay, you can't just be saying that combined is 34,929. Then separate just now is 26798 and 204. You can't just say separate assessment, the tax is lower, so we opt for separate, full stop. And then you expect me to give you 3 marks. You ask me how to give the 3 marks. Where must I put the 111? You can't. That means your answer is not enough for a 3 mark. So please ask yourself this. Always you stand from a viewpoint, if you become the examiner, you think this answer can give 3 marks. You ask yourself like that. If you think cannot, then know that you're not right already. So you ask for something that you want more detail. That's why you say explain, okay? Now, first of all, we're going to say that if assessed separately, the total tax payable for both individuals would be 26798 27002.5, while the tax payable under combined assessment is 34929.5. Now, if you don't put the number in, no marks. Understand? You just say that the tax payable in separate assessment is lower than combined assessment. You just do like that. You didn't even say the amount, no mark, totally no mark. Because you are not applying back to the case study. Okay, you must go back to the answer and then explain why. So this is what examiner is expecting. Okay. Now, so if you just say because of this, because separate assessment is lower, the tax is lower, so they should opt for separate assessment. Then you get another 1 mark. Okay, there is only 1 mark and 1 mark. Then where is the other 1 mark? Now the other 1 mark will be to explain why separate is lower. Okay, you just give any point why separate is lower. Now you can say, for example, separate assessment, the tax is lower because of the tax rate. Okay? Or you can say, for example, separate assessment is lower because you got more relief, because each person got 9,000. Or you can say because that the Y will get a rebate as well. Now there's so many points. Any one that you say, I mean you give any one of the reason, each reason carry half a mark for you. So you mention tax rate, you mention rebate, then you get the extra 1 mark. Okay, so you have more points for the actual marks given. Okay, now so the lower tax liability under separate assessment is due to, now you can give any reason. Now there's an additional cell relief of 9,000 for Susan instead of only 3,000 Y relief when combined. Number 2, you can also say that the tax rate is lower when income is split. Now, therefore, they should opt for separate assessment. Okay, right, this is your question 1. Now I think we will go to question 3 so that I can pause for a break after this rather than a longer corporate tax question. So you just turn to question 3. Now, question 3A. Now guys, what they are asking over here in A is agriculture allowance. Okay. The examiner asks, compute agriculture allowance for healthy veggie for year of assessment 2013. Identifying the expenditure which qualifies and does not qualify. So that means those who will not qualify, you must show that you won't get. Okay. No, you are required to compute the agriculture allowances for 2013 only. Because usually in the class I show you everything. Okay, so here in the examiner just say I just want 2013. Okay. Alright, healthy veggie. So in short, we call healthy. Operates a farm growing organic fruits and vegetables. Now, details of healthy's capital expenditure in the basis period for year of assessment 2013 are as shown below. Land, amount incurred is 120. Clearing and preparing land, 90. Construction of an estate office, 130. Construction of a storage building, 20. Constructing a road to access the farm, 60. Construction of living quarters for the farm's employee, which has little value if it's not used as a farm, 200,000. Healthy is eligible for agriculture allowance. Now that's all only. Okay, so based on this amount, I need you to show me how much is the agriculture allowance for 2013, and you must clearly indicate if the amount qualify or does not qualify. Okay, now the rates for agriculture allowance is also given in the free information in the front. So here you go. See how many marks out of the 8 that you can get. You try this. You forgot again. Alright, so you will show the amount of qualifying expenditure, right? So land is non-qualifying, correct? Huh? Nil. So nil means nil lah, nothing already, huh? Okay, just put nil, got half mark already. Okay. 90,000. You write 90, you get 1 mark. Oh, easy on this one. So imagine you actually don't know what is happening. You just go in, you're so free, you sit there, you look at, don't know what to do. Then you got a lot of time, you look at everyone is basing doing that, you say, I don't know what to do. I just copy the question. You just take all the things you copy one by one and then you list down all the figures. Then you got 1 mark, 130 1 mark, 20 1 mark, 60 1 mark, 200 1 mark. At least you get 5 marks for copying question. It's very difficult, no right? So now you are like very easy at that. Okay. This exam only, your exam, I think the difficulty is 4 times this exam. You don't prepare, okay? 开玩笑而已. Okay, office will be 10%, storage 10%, road 50, living quarter 20. Now there's no excuse for using a wrong rate because the rate is given in the front. So if you use a wrong rate, you lost the other half mark at the back. Sure one, because the rate has already been given. So 90 times 50 is 45, 13, 2,000, 30,000, and 40,000. Right, that's how you get all the 8 marks. Go on, part B. You total also never mind. You are total, don't have total, never mind. Okay. Now, B. Uni is in the business of manufacturing paper product. And during the basis period for Y 2013, Uni acquired a mold machine, general plant and machinery, cost 62,000, and incurred an additional 38,000 in alterations of the factory building to install the machine. So determine the qualifying plant and machinery expenditure as a result of the above and compute the amount of CA for 2013. Okay, just calculate CA for me. Calculate that for me. How much is the CA? Calculate depreciation only. Take the amount, multiply by the rate, then you know the amount. Okay. Forgot also, huh? Didn't forget, then calculate. Why wait for my answer? Huh? Exam you all wait for my answer. I stand outside and let you all wait. Yeah. Equal với ai? Answer 3 marks, so easy. See, another 3 marks. Right. So the qualifying plant expenditure is first of all the cost of the machine, right? 62 plus the alteration cost because it's relevant to what? Installation. 38. Then qualifying plant expenditure is 100. Now once you get qualifying plant, then YA 2013, IA is 20% of 100, AA is 14% of 100, so it's 20 and 14. Now you are not asked to show the RE, but you show also, never mind. Okay, so the important that we want to see now is this and this. Then you get 3 marks. Okay. Okay, last one, part C. There's another 5 marks that the examiner is asking. Okay, examiner says that Poly Sandram Berhad constructed an extension to its factory building in the basis period for 2013 and then incurred the following expenditure. Cost of land, 200,000. Cost of architect fee for the land, 20,000. Cost of architect fee for the extension, 10,000. Legal fee for the extension approval, 20. Interior design fee for the extension paid to the non-resident who performed services in Malaysia, for which withholding tax was not deducted and remitted, assuming withholding tax will not be paid within 3 years. Now, we have not covered this. Okay, withholding tax issue is if you have a withholding tax on any of these so-called professional fees and you didn't pay the withholding tax, then the amount will not be qualifying. Okay, because the rule is supposed to be consistent both sides. They say that any expenses that there's no withholding tax, you cannot deduct. But this is not a deduction. This is capital. So capital is to claim CA. That's why they come up with another law, which we will do in withholding tax, that we tell you, if you don't comply, then you cannot claim this amount as well. So that means the 10,000 will be non-qualifying. Okay. Then the construction of the extension is 570,000. Now, part of the extension included the construction of a showroom to exhibit the company's product, which occupied 15% of the total area. Okay, showroom is what? What's wrong with showroom? What is that? Okay, we read the requirement. Probably you don't know what they're asking. Okay, read the requirement. Now they say determine Poly's qualifying building expenditure for 2013, identifying item of expenditure listed if it qualifies or does not qualify IBA. Now you don't need to calculate the IBA. Okay, so when you want to calculate IBA, you must first get the qualifying building expenditure. Correct enough? Now when you see things like showroom, office, okay, what is all this? Auditorium hall, okay, what is all that? It's non-industrial usage. And non-industrial usage, there's a rule. How many percent? 10%. Anything up to 10%, we don't care. We give you full amount. Now anything more than 10%, then you will have to take out the portion which is non-industrial usage. Correct enough? Now usually the percentage we calculate based on what? The law based on the cost. If you know the cost, you must take the cost. But now you don't know the cost. That's why they only say that whatever you build, there's a 15% of the area. So the law say if you don't know the cost, then you take the floor area. Okay? So what do? You must calculate the full amount first. Remember the question we do in the class, you calculate the full amount. Then based on the full amount, if it's more than 10%, then you apportion the qualifying. Okay? Now, you do not need to compute the QBE, the IBA. Okay? You just need to compute the QBE. Compute qualifying building expenditure. Okay, just tell me, cost of land, is it qualifying? Yes or no? No, nil. Architect fee for the land, yes or no? No. Architect fee for the extension, yes or no? Yes, so 10,000. Legal fee for the extension, yes or no? Yes, 20. Interior designing fee, that there is no withholding tax. I said it, no, okay, you didn't pay withholding tax. Okay, then the construction fee, yes or no? Yes. Now all in, we have 600,000. But now the non-industrial usage exceeded 15%. Okay? $85. So the QBE will be $510,000. The non-industrial usage exceeded 10%. So you only take the portion that relates to the industrial usage as qualified. Okay? Right, so that's question 3, A, B, C. Now part D, it's your tax admin. It is question 4, there's no D. Correct, done. Okay? I thought it's question 3. Question 3, yeah. Where's my D? Here. Now part D is tax admin. So it's an area that we have not covered, so I can't do with you. And they're just asking you what is the penalty for the estimates variation. Okay? So the one you do next time. You come back after you finish off the few chapters, you come and do it on your own. Okay? Right, we take a break. Come back, then we look at the corporate tax question.